Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, featuring industry thought leaders sharing problem-solving insights to help grow your business and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stewart Andrew Alexander.
Hi, and welcome to another Let's Talk Divorce conversation. And during this segment of the show, I have matrimonial family law attorney Crystal R. Villasenor and principal of the law office of Crystal R. Villasenor, PLLC. Now, Crystal is calling in all the way from New York City, and certainly in our eyes at Impact Makers Radio is considered to be a leader in the area of family law. And we'll be talking to you today about navigating the child custody and child support aspect of your divorce. So, if you are a divorcing couple, you might want to just stop what you're doing for a while, log out of Twitter, turn off Facebook, or any other kind of distraction. Grab a notepad and pen and listen in to what Crystal has to share with you today. So with that said, let's welcome her to the show. Crystal, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
I am great, Crystal, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. We know that you're really busy over there in New York, so we're really happy to have you on the show. So, you're so welcome. With that said then, Crystal, let's just jump straight in. Can you briefly, in your own words, describe the kinds of people who you serve and the various types of situations they find themselves in when they come to you for your help?
Certainly. My law firm serves a diverse clientele. I have worked with couples from different backgrounds, educational levels, ages, and the relationships range from a brief marriage that lasted a couple of months to marriages of over 30 plus years. When a client comes to me, they are dealing with the sensitive issue of a divorce. They're usually battling financial issues, issues over their children, and they often have a mix of emotions. They're usually hurt, angry, confused, panicked, and fearful of the unknown. It's my job to let them know that they aren't alone and they have options. I advise my clients as to what those options are and possible outcomes. And my ultimate goal is to alleviate some of that anxiety and stress.
So keeping in mind that anything you share with us today is not legal advice or legal assistance, then briefly share the most common misconception. Now, I'm sure there are many misconceptions you come across on a daily basis while you're out there consulting your clients, but could you share with us the most common misconception you come across while you're out there working with divorcing couples?
Sure. One of the most common misconceptions surrounding child custody and child support is that they are not dependent on one another. Custody is only the preliminary factor in setting up child support. However, beyond that, non-custodial parents' time with the child has nothing to do with the payment of child support.
Okay, Crystal. So based on what you just shared with us and keeping client confidentiality in mind, of course, can you share an example of how you've helped someone who came to you with those challenges or that misconception you just described, and what kind of transformational results you were able to gain for them?
Sure. I often have custodial parents contact me and say, the non-custodial parent didn't pay the child support. Can I cancel the visitation for this week? And the answer is no. A custodial parent can't refuse to cut back on visitation if the child support hasn't been paid. Usually I advise my clients to go forward with the visitation, and then I recommend that we can go into court and try to enforce the order of support. Or in the reverse, a non-custodial parent might ask me, my visits have been canceled for the past 2 weeks. Can I reduce the child support payment? And again, the answer is no. The child support has been set by the court and it must be paid regardless of whether you have seen the child. And again, my advice would be the same, is to if they haven't seen the child, let us file a motion to go into court and have that order enforced.
So what I'm picking up there then, Crystal, is even though some of these requests that you receive from the client's perspective seems logical, as far as the court is concerned or the actual law, then it doesn't really play a role. Am I on the right lines there?
Correct.
Could you just expand on that just for the listener out there so that they have a little bit more information on that particular topic?
Sure. The financial money matter should be kept separate from the parenting issues. So if there is a court order in place, they definitely want to abide by that order as much as possible. And they can't use the child as a tool to, let's say, get back at the other parent or force the other parent to abide by those court orders.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that with us, Crystal. So today's topic is navigating the child custody and child support aspect of your divorce. Now, with that in mind, and for those divorcing couples wanting to know more, what's the most common but unknown pitfall that they might not but should be aware of? Now, again, I'm sure there are many pitfalls out there, Crystal, but if you could just share the most common pitfall that you come across, that would be great. Thank you.
Yes, it can be tempting to use visitation time as a weapon, since you know it is something that is important to the other parent and is something that you can easily control, but the court is not going to see it that way. And ultimately, your child's time with their parent is essential, and stopping a visitation to get what you want isn't fair to the child.
Within the amount of time that we've spent so far, Crystal, you have shared some great insights. So I'm sure at this stage, the listener is probably thinking, well, who is this Crystal Villasenor? She sounds like she knows what she's talking about. So let me just deviate a little bit and ask you a more of a personal question. So imagine it's a Monday morning then, Crystal, and it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever time your alarm clock goes off and your day kicks in, and you have a full day's work ahead, helping your clients like you do on a daily basis. How does Crystal feel? How does Crystal Villasenor feel about the day ahead?
I feel empowered. I am very excited to wake up in the morning. I actually just started this firm at the beginning of January 2017. So I am excited every day to come to work and do what I'm passionate about. I love helping people. I love getting children the opportunity to see their parents and for families to work out their issues, even though it is a troubled time.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Crystal. It's always good just to get a personal insight into the professional who we're looking at and possibly hiring. So that's great that you just shared that little bit of information with us. It's also a very good segue into my next question, which is kind of similar, but this time, if you could just share a little bit about your background and especially your education and your experience as it relates to the topic of family law.
Sure. I received my Juris Doctorate from Florida Coastal School of Law in 2010 and was admitted to the New York State Bar in 2011. I began my law career as an associate attorney at a small general practice law firm in Brooklyn, New York, where I handled the majority of their family law and matrimonial cases. And there is where I developed my passion. And in January 2017, I opened the law office of Crystal R. Villasenor, PLLC, with a focus on the matrimonial and family law.
So, Crystal, we're coming towards the end of the show, but I do have one final question before we find out about how to get in touch with you. So I'd like you just for a moment just to picture the kinds of divorcing couples who come to you for your help. And yeah, they're wanting to dig a little bit deeper into the topic of what we've been speaking about today, navigating the child custody and child support aspect of their divorce. Now, with that picture in mind, Crystal, what final thoughts would you like to leave those divorcing couples listening to you right now?
I would like to let them know that it can be difficult to keep parenting issues and money matters separate, but doing so will allow the child to have a relationship with both parents. And in the end, that's all that really matters.
So, Crystal, if there is somebody out there who wants to know more about navigating the child custody and child support aspect of their divorce, how can they connect with you? Where would they find you?
They can find me at my website at www.crvlaw.com.
Okay, so whether you're out there driving in the car, please do be careful while you're out there doing that, or you're tuning in from home. That's all we have time for today, unfortunately. But before we go, remember, that was Crystal R. Villasenor, the family law attorney with the amazing last name. I just love her last name. It sounds so beautiful. It just rolls off your tongue. But more importantly, the family law attorney with the expertise that you need. So thank you so much for sharing with us so generously today, Crystal. You certainly have demonstrated without a doubt that you are a true educator and advocate for your client's success. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
You are so welcome, my dear. And also, more importantly, I'd like to say a big thank you to you, the listener, the divorcing couples out there, for joining us on this very insightful and informative conversation with one of the top matrimonial and family law attorneys in New York today. So make sure you do check her out. Remember, her name is Crystal Villasenor. Give her a call, send her an email. I am sure you are going to be in good hands. So again, I'm Stewart Andrew Alexander, and we'll be back shortly with some more leading divorce professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Divorce Conversations. So, until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present, and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.